It is now in order to consider amendment number 50, printed in Part B of House Report 118-216. For what purpose does the gentlewoman from Colorado seek recognition?
At 55. Praise the Lord. Mr. Chair, I have an amendment at the desk.
The clerk will designate the amendment.
Amendment number 50, printed in Part B of House Report number 118-216, offered by Mrs. Boebert of Colorado.
Pursuant to House Resolution 723, the gentlewoman from Colorado, Ms. Boebert, and a member opposed each will control 5 minutes. The chair recognizes the gentlewoman from Colorado.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I rise today to offer my amendment that utilizes the Holman Rule to reduce the salary of the Officer for Civil Rights and Civil Liberties, Shoba Sivaprasad Wadhia, to $1. DHS's Office for Civil Rights and Civil Liberties is staffed with people that literally want to abolish the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement as an agency whose mission is to protect America from the cross-border crime and illegal immigration that threaten national security. The woman that leads DHS's Office for Civil Rights and Civil Liberties once said that illegal immigrant felons convicted of murder and rape shouldn't be eligible for deportation solely because of their crimes. Let me repeat that. Wadhia believes that illegal immigrant felons convicted of murder and rape should not be deported. She's also advocated for purging the term illegal immigrant and tried to humanize illegal immigration in order to allow mass illegal immigration. Throughout her career, this open border bureaucrat has aggressively pursued pro-amnesty policies and even defended illegal immigrants in court who should have been deported. In her current role, she is literally enabling and supporting the Biden border crisis. Since Joe Biden took office, more than 6 million illegal aliens have entered America. In August alone, there were 232,972 illegal aliens encountered at the southern border. That does not include the gotaways, who were not encountered by our brave Customs and Border Patrol agents. Customs and Border Patrol has seized 25,500 pounds of fentanyl so far in fiscal year 2023, a deadly drug that is literally killing our children. 25,500 pounds is only what was seized at the border, not what is still flowing freely into our country. Biden's bureaucrats are literally allowing deadly fentanyl to easily flow into our communities. She has also been a major part of the federal government's obsession with diversity, equity, and inclusion, consistently forcing woke policies down the throats of public servants. These woke federal policies shouldn't be embedded in our nation's border and national security policies. These misguided agency initiatives need to come to an end. My amendment is supported by the National Immigration Center of Enforcement Numbers USA and the American Accountability Foundation. I urge my colleagues to support my amendment and hold Shoba Wadhia accountable for her going rogue in an administration that has ignored the rule of law and has facilitated the worst border crisis in our nation's history. Mr. Chair, I yield.
Does the gentlelady reserve?
Yes, I do. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Gentlelady reserves. For what purpose does the gentleman seek recognition?
Mr. Chair, I claim the time in opposition.
The gentleman is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, sir. This bill on Homeland passed June 21st, 2023, and we're in September, and we're just taking the bill right now. This bill, Homeland, got passed out of appropriations on June 21st, 23, and here we are late at night trying to pass a bill where there is no Senate conference. They're not even considering this bill, and we're not addressing the issue before us. And the issue before us is that the last government shutdowns were under Republican House majorities. In fact, the longest shutdown in history was a Republican House and a Senate with Trump at the White House in 2018. Again, in November 13, 1995, December 15, 1995, September 30th, 2013, June 19, 2018, December 21, 2018, Republican-controlled houses had a shutdown. 5 of them that we're looking at, 5 of them, and I think we're going to have the 6th one because, again, this bill passed on June 21st of 2023, and here we are in the middle of the night trying to decide. So instead of focusing on what we ought to do to make sure we don't have a government shutdown, we're focusing on a bill that might pass over to the Senate, but there's no conference committee. So what are we going to do at 12:01? Again, if we have a problem or difference, should I say a difference in policy, I'm ready to sit down. I don't want to see open borders. I want to make sure that we support Border Patrol. I don't just go visit the border. I live there. I go with Border Patrol to church. I see them at the stores. Our kids go to school. And again, I want to make sure that we support our men and women in green. But again, this amendment is unconstitutional. When you target salaries, the Supreme Court has already said, United States versus Love, the Supreme Court in 1946, it is constitutional. The Bill of Attainder, clause of the Constitution, again says that you cannot provide punishment without due process. So again, if we have a difference, let's do it. But you know what? We should have been doing this on June 22nd, a day after we pass it. But here we are in the middle of the night, 9:10 p.m. Eastern Time, and we're talking about passing a bill that the Senate is not even considering right now. So with that, I want to sit down with my good friend from Colorado and my chairman, Mr. Joyce, but this is not the time to be talking about taking people's salaries away. Again, I yield back the balance of my time, and I ask members to vote no.
The gentleman yields. The gentlewoman is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Legislating is beautiful. It's great to actually be down here debating the real issues that Americans are faced with day in and day out. I do agree with my colleague on the other side of the aisle that we should have been debating this bill June 22nd. But here we are, and it is our responsibility to pass these appropriations bills, 12 individual appropriations bills in total, to the Senate. What the Senate does is up to them and their chamber, but this is our house, and it is our responsibility to do our part of our jobs, and that is exactly what we are doing tonight. I, too, would like to see our border secured, and I look forward to my colleague on the other side of the aisle joining us to support H.R. 2 to secure the border, because I can tell he's very, very enthusiastic about actually accomplishing something rather than just throwing money at a problem and creating more processing agents. I can see the sincerity, hear the sincerity in his voice that he wants a secure nation and secure borders, especially since he represents a district on the southern border and encounters our brave Border Patrol agents each and every day. And my colleague has brought up several times tonight that you cannot have punishment without a trial. Well, this Holman Rule is part of our House rules. We are a self-governing majority rule body. The Holman Rule is here in place to hold unelected bureaucrats accountable. And if my colleagues on the other side of the aisle have any sort of qualm with punishment without trial, I would encourage them to visit our January 6th prisoners in the D.C. jail. Thank you. I yield.
The gentlewoman yields. The question is on the amendment offered by the gentlewoman from Colorado. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it.
Ask for a recorded vote.
Pursuant to Clause 6 of Rule 18, further